Saturday, everyone. The weekend is here, it's exciting, we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna have some big numbers today. So, what we have for you guys is a home variation of the Filthy 50. It's gonna be a great time. Before we get to the work set, which is a long laundry list of exercises to my left, we're gonna talk about the warm-up. Our warm-up today is gonna consist of a plank to down dog for one, plank to bear squat for one. You're gonna cycle back and forth between those two exercises 3 times, so you hit 3 of each exercise. Single leg RDL to follow for 3 to 5 a side to prime up the glutes and the hamstrings. And then dynamic triangle for 3 a side. Side lunge for 10 alternating, and then you hit that for 2 to 3 rounds. Into the next phase, which is going to be a little bit more practice for the work set as well. We're going to do a dumbbell deadlift for 3, dumbbell swing for 3 to 5 reps, or 3 to 5 per side, depending on the style of swing. Dumbbell goblet squat for 3, and a jump squat for 20 seconds in 2 rounds. So you're going to take that down nice and steady again, getting things primed up for the exercises in the workout. And then we have one more piece of the puzzle. We have a dumbbell push press for 3 to 5, squat thrust to down dog for 3 to 5 reps, and a skip of 30 seconds, just to kind of finalize all that stuff that we're working on in the workout. After that, 3, 2, 1, we get it going in the work set. We have a long list, and I'll have some different options for you guys during this work set as well for this. We have a box jump for 50 reps, dumbbell pullover for 50 reps, dumbbell/kettlebell swing for 50 reps, lunge for 50 alternating, plank knee to elbow 50 for alternating, push press for 50, arch up for 50, goblet squat for 50, burpee for 50, and double under for 50. Oh my lord, there's a lot of 50s up there. And a lot of exercises. So the big thing here is just pacing yourself, taking your time, move through those exercises well, break things down, and keep that heart rate nice and steady across the board. So super, super important for that, and keep her going. The only other thing I was going to talk about before we get to the work set is the weights and loads for this work set are light. Alright, so in terms of the push press, if I was having you in class, it would be technically an empty bar is the prescribed loading for the Filthy 50. So please keep that in mind. If you have 2 dumbbells that are relatively heavy, right, maybe just use 1 and alternate the reps. If you have lighter loading at home, please keep that in mind. Light loads today so you can move for big numbers opposed to breaking them down into too many small sets. So keep that in mind. Light loads. But saying that, let's warm up, get ready, and have some fun today. All right, everyone. Let's get those feet underneath of those hips. Let's take the arms big and tall up overhead. We're going to scratch our back and reach through the elbow. We're going to come back up. We're going to take a big reach up overhead and scratch the back with the other side. Big stretch. We'll come back up. Big stretch overhead. Take the hands to the T. We'll turn them in, turn them out, turn them in, turn them out, and turn them in and out. Big stretch. Nice shrug. We'll come back down. We're going to forward fold, touch those toes. We're going to walk up those shins. We'll come down, frame the foot, step back into your lizard. Nice and square in that position. We're going to lower the knee and press the hip. We'll come back down, or to the center. Press the hip, to center. Press the hip, back to center. Straightening out that leg. We're going to straighten the front leg. Plant the foot. Straighten the front leg. Plant the foot. And straighten the front leg, plant the foot. Step back into that down dog briefly. Good, come back into your plank. Step the other foot up. Nice and square in those hips. We're going to lower the knee, press the hip to center, hip to center, hip back to center. Straightening out the leg, straighten one, plant the foot, straighten, plant the foot, and straighten. And plant the foot. Step back, up into that down dog, reach those hips. Come back into our plank, tiptoe those feet all the way up. And roll ourselves all the way overhead. Big stretch. Little shrug. Come back down with those hands. Oh yeah. Let's get you ready to go. So again, quick little recap again. If you'd like to do some more gentle warm up for yourself, pause the video, take it down. I'm going to start you off in that plank to down dog to plank to bear squat and get you going in that first phase of work. So first things first, I'm going to get myself into my plank. So I'm going to come down, plant my hands, step my feet back into that good strong plank. So I'm going to press my shoulders to the sky,
tuck my pelvis by squeezing my ribs and hips together. And then I'm going to pull my hips back, softening my knees, allowing my armpits to point to the toes, and then come back into my plank. I'm going to separate my feet as I do this, staying tight, pulling back into my bear squat, and then I come forward, back into my plank. I can leave my feet here if I'd like to move into my down dog again, and then come back into my plank, and then set, pull back into my bear squat, and then come back into that plank. So again, we're setting those shoulders for both movements in the same way, but the bear squat is going to put a little bit more stress on those lats and those arms. So just make sure that you're set before you pull yourself back into that squat position. Make sure you have optimal setup before moving into that set. Our next exercise is that single leg RDL. So you can do this empty-handed or with a dumbbell. We have two variations of this movement depending on where you're at and what you want to work on. My foot is going to set up in the same place regardless of what I'm doing in terms of the variation. My toe is going to be lightly planted on the floor. And in this first variation, I'm going to leave the foot down. I'm going to pull my hips back, staying square to the front, taking my hands to my knee with the dumbbell to my knee, and then I'm going to squeeze and stand. My goal is to engage and find that hamstring and glute as best I can. So I pull back into that nice hinge, find that hamstring engagement, and stand tall. The other side of things, I am going to pull back and let my foot kind of hover above the floor, still getting that same glute and hamstring position, that same hinge pattern, and hopefully that same sensation through the hamstring. So please do what you need to. If you spend most of your time trying to balance with the single leg off the floor, try that other variation a little bit, see how it goes. Dumbbell can be held in any position to the front, same side that lifts, same side that balances, depending on where you want to work and what you want to work on. So experiment, play, have some fun with that today. After that, we're going to move into our dynamic triangle. So we're going to get ourselves in a sumo stance first. I'm going to turn a toe on the angle. So one toe points straight to the side, the other one's kind of on an angle. I'm going to reach my hand up to the sky, one hand on the thigh. I'm going to pull my hip back to start the hinge, and I'm going to travel down my shin. My goal is to stay with my torso in line with my shin. So as I trace, I pull the hip straight back, and I travel straight down my line of action, which is my leg, and then I travel straight back. Sometimes we come forward, we want to try and stay in that nice straight line, as if someone put two panes of glass on either side, and we have to stay right in between those things. So try and stay nice and straight, nice and flat. From there, from the dynamic triangle, I'm going to go a little wider, and I'm going to work on a side lunge. So my toes are turned out, and we just have 10 total count reps here. You can take a tempo, you can do a hold, it's up to you. But I'm going to take my hips back and down towards my heel, working on that position so that I can find that good hearty position, that good opening for the ankle, for the hip, and really work on stabilizing that ankle and that knee. So we have a chance to work on tempo, no tempo, but regardless of that choice, we want to make sure we're listening to our squat mechanics and taking that hip to the heel, loading the midfoot and not the toe. Quick recap, we have our plank to down dog for one, to plank to bear squat for one, 3 times through that cycle, into a single leg RDL, 3 to 5 per side, loaded or unloaded, foot assist or no. Dynamic triangle for 3 a side, side lunge for 10 total count, 2 to 3 rounds. We'll take that through a few times, pause the video, rock it, get your body ready. We're going to start playing around with a little dumbbell action and get you guys closer to the workout. So what we have for you guys with this, we have a dumbbell deadlift, and it's going to flow right into the swing. So we want to make sure that we're working on our positions here. So I have my dumbbell on the floor. So I'm going to work on just priming up my hamstrings a bit. So I'm going to use a sumo because it's going to transition over into my swing a little bit more. I'm going to pull my hips back and down to get to my dumbbell. I'm going to stand tall. I'm going to work on that for 3 reps just to prime up my glutes and hamstrings.
nice and smooth per side. From there, I'm going to transition to a swing, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways to hold the kettlebell, or the dumbbell. First one is single arm, and I'm going to hold the dumbbell at the handle. The swing position, I'm going to take the hips back, like I'm going to jump onto the box, but I'm going to take it back, I'm going to stand, letting that dumbbell come all the way or wherever I feel comfortable. I maintain that hinge, and I keep my body square as I can. So I'm not letting the dumbbell come below the knees. I'm keeping it nice and high, and my hand always stays above the knees. I'll do 3 to 5 per side. The other variation, I'm going to hold it like a golf club. All right, so I'm going to stack both hands on top of the handle. Same idea, feet are kind of in a squat stance. I'm going to take my hips back, hands stay above the knees, and I'm going to take it to wherever I feel comfortable and or wherever my shoulders will allow me to. So I want to make sure that I'm listening to my shoulder mobility and my ability to go overhead with that nice straight arm. So if I can, I'll use it. If not, I'll take it wherever I can. The last variation, I'll hold it by the bell. So 2 hands on the bell, same stance. Hands are going to be above the knees again. Quick hips. And I'm just going to take that dumbbell to wherever I feel comfortable, using those hips and legs to do the work. So the hips and legs do the work, elevating the weight, not my arms, right? In that regard, we end up getting a droopy bell. We don't want a droopy bell. So if you have that dumbbell or kettlebell, when you go and it's hanging down here, good chance that you're trying to lift too much with the arms and not letting the legs carry that momentum. Last piece of the puzzle, I want you guys to think about keeping your ribs in. So I'm going to pretend like I'm holding a kettlebell. As I pull my hips back and I drive, I'm coming up to this tall standing position. Ribs tight, glutes tight. I want to watch out for breaking at the hip and the ribs and or overextending, okay? So I don't want to be overextending through the ribs as that kettlebell or dumbbell is coming up. I want to make sure those ribs stay down, those glutes are tight. No different than if I was going to go overhead with a shoulder press or a jerk. So keep that in mind, ribs in the whole time. Our last exercise is going to be our last 2 are going to be some squat variations. One of which is a goblet squat, so you'll hold the dumbbell at the chin. We're going to set up in our regular squat stance. There's no tempo on these. We're just going to move really well. So we're going to pull the hips towards our heels, knees track the toe, and then I stand. Working that good range of motion that I can maintain position with, and I can maintain a good upright torso. From there, I'm going to move into a jump squat for 20 seconds, and we have 3 variations. So I can either do an air squat, continuing with my position, trying to maintain that the entire time, a non-jumping jump squat, so I'm working on that elevation and that good pull under, or I'm going to work on a full jump squat, which again, I'm not leaving the ground too much. I'm just opening my hips and legs really aggressively, which will pull me off the ground a bit, and then trying to return back to the floor and decelerating to the bottom of my squat as calmly as I can. Quick recap, 2 rounds, dumbbell deadlift for 3 per side, dumbbell swing 3 to 5 per side if you're doing a single, 3 to 5 if you're just working on that 2-hand swing, goblet squat for 3, jump squat for 20 seconds, take it down, get yourself prepped, and again, pause the video, work through that first phase. We're going to continue on and work on our next little triplet that's going to get you guys ready for action for the work set. So we start off with a dumbbell push press, and if you have 2 dumbbells that are light, grab them, use them today. So again, light is the concept for the day. I have a single, so we want to imagine that this is a heavy dumbbell, and that's all I have access to at home. And I'm just going to do a single dumbbell if that's the case. So the movement is the same, single or double. My feet are under my hips or just outside. Toes can be slightly turned out. Glutes are tight, core is tight, we're nice and upright. I get that good dip, hip, shoulder, nice and aligned, weighted through my midfoot. And I use that dip to drive the weight overhead. I come back down, dip, drive the weight overhead. So I'm using that drive through the hips to get the weight moving for the most part. So we want to make sure we're focused on that as best we can. Now, with this, we want to make sure that that dumbbell is overhead and we're finishing that position well. So take your time with those push press, practice well, and see where it takes you. Once we're there, we're going to work on our squat thrust to down dog. So there's a couple variations we can play with this. One of which, the hands come down, we jump our feet back, we pull back into our down dog, come back in, and stand tall. So we're just using it to practice the jumping motion to get into the plank, and then opening up the lats and back. We want to make sure that we keep this into a two-part movement. So it comes down, I hit my squat thrust, I pull back into my down dog, come back into my plank, stand tall, little hop. I can also do a step back, variation, or any combo of the jump and step into that position. We just want to make sure it turns into a two-part movement and we're not jumping into our down dog. So make sure we're keeping it solid. Next exercise is a skip, 30 seconds. Or if you don't have a skipping rope or space to skip at home, you can work on a lateral jump, skip, or a step for 30 seconds just to work on getting those feet ready to go, getting that body ready. You can also work on the ankle pop as well. So keep that in mind. We're just trying to get some cardio going that we're going to use in place of the skip in our workout. Quick recap, we have dumbbell push press 3 to 5, squat thrust to down dog 3 to 5, skipping or some lateral jump overs for 30 seconds, 2 rounds, take that down, have some fun with it. All right. Pause the video, come back to me, work through that stuff. We're going to talk about the movements in our workout and turn you loose. All right, welcome back, you guys. It's time to go through the workout movements today. So we start this workout out with, I'll say, everything is the same rep scheme, and I'll have some different reps. If you're looking at those 50s going, ooh, okay. I'll have some different rep schemes there for you if you'd like, but assume that everything is the same rep scheme all the way through, regardless of the rep scheme you choose. So we have box jumps. So our box jump is here. We're all set. Just like our kettlebell swing, we're going to throw those hips back a bit, getting those knees out so we get that good drive. So with that, I may get nice and tall, nice and set, pull the hips back and fire. Stand tall and step down. I'm really working on keeping the knees out as I come back, and as I drive, I'm keeping them out, and then as I land, I'm landing in that little power position. So we're trying to land as soft and as gentle on the top of the box as we can. If jumping is not your thing, but you have something to step on, you can work on some step-ups. So you can work on that nice, smooth step, keeping that knee nice and stacked over top of the heel, making sure that it's not wobbly all over the place. But we want to make sure that we're moving well and coming to full extension. Box jump or step up. I'll have some other variations of some jumps there for you guys in the workout description. Check it out, see what you want to do with that in place of the box jump, and have some fun with it. Pick your adventure today. It's going to be a good time. Our next exercise that we didn't go over in our warm-up today is our dumbbell pullover. So same dumbbell, same concept, sticking with the light. I'm going to lay down like I'm going to do a bridge. My feet are flat, my hips are down, nice and set. I'm going to grab my dumbbell, I'm going to hold it over top of my body. My low back is going to press into the floor so there's no space. My elbows are soft, and I'm going to press into that dumbbell as I bring it down. Once I feel that touch, I'm going to come back overhead. I want you guys to work on a slightly slower movement here so you can work on that nice, smooth flow. You'll be able to go a little faster, but we still want to make sure that this is a controlled movement and just doesn't turn into all over the place. All right, so keep it controlled, keep it strong. Another variation is holding by the bell. The low back is still pressed, the elbows are still soft, and I'm just going to get a little bit more range of motion out of this as I come back up overhead with that pullover action. So we're trying to find our lats here, and we're trying to keep it nice and strong through that position as we press down. So it's going to give you a chance to let your heart rate come down a bit after those box jumps, but it's going to jack up your arms a little bit for sure. Our next exercise in the list is our kettlebell swing. So if you have any questions about the kettlebell, come back, or if you need points of performance, rewind the video back to that swing portion. We go through all of that in that warm-up piece. But for the kettlebell swing, we want to make sure that we're just keeping it nice and tight, nice and strong, and resting if we start to feel off balance or if we start to lose our core position. So don't feel that you have to go unbroken. It's a lighter load so you can go bigger sets, but we want to keep them efficient and moving well. After that, we have a lunge. And the lunge is unloaded, so it's empty hand. You're going to do 50 total count. So you're going to stand nice and tall, nice and strong. You're going to squeeze your bum. You're going to get that good lunge going in that good step. Taking your time so you're not bouncing the knee off the floor, and you're making sure that you're controlled. If the back lunge is more, I shouldn't say easy, it's not much easier, but if you find it easier to balance and maintain position, back lunge instead of the front. So that's the same idea, except we're lowering down and stepping to the back. So it gives us a chance to really watch our loading and watch our front knee a little bit more. So if you find that easier, use it. I'll have a couple other options for you in place of that back lunge or front lunge if you like, but play with it. 50 reps total count. It's going to be a nice tiring exercise. Right from the lunge, we go into our plank knee to elbow. So those hips, you're going to get kind of a double whammy on this one. So we establish our nice solid plank position. I pull my ribs and hips together. I press through my shoulders. And this hollow position doesn't change. I'm going to squeeze my knee up to my elbow, trying to shoot for that position as high as I can and as close as I can. So I'll face the front for you guys on this so you can see that my leg is kind of coming out to the side a little bit, opposed to the knee to nose that comes straight up the middle. This is going to kind of loop around a bit to the side, trying to shoot for that elbow / tricep. My suggestion is shoot for the tricep with these plank knee to elbows, because if you do accidentally hit yourself a little harder than expected, you're not going to jack your elbow up or buckle your elbow, you're just going to hit your tricep. It's a little nicer feel, and you won't risk hitting your funny bone. You got 50 reps of that, total count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 50. It's going to be a good time. If you want to challenge that a little bit more, pause for a moment at contact, and then extend back into your plank. If you lose your plank position at any point or lose your core, shoulder position, take a break, take a knee, reestablish, keep it going. After that, plank knee to nose or elbow, we have our push press. So again, we weren't through that in our workout, our warm-up earlier. If you have a heavy set of dumbbells, and you're like, holy crap, you said light, these are heavy for me. Just do one dumbbell instead of both, all right? And break up the reps every 5 reps. So you just switch sides every 5, working on that good set. If you have a light set at home, do both, total count of 50. So keep that in mind, keeping with the idea of light, break it down, and set it up with a single if you only have heavy dumbbells. Arch up, it's a good time. We are arch up, something we're very familiar with. We're gonna lay on our back, our stomach, Hands gonna be to the front, toes are gonna be together, and you're going to reach and lift, trying to straighten out and down. Reach and lift and down. And you're gonna work on 50 reps. So if you don't feel comfortable doing both hands and feet, you can work on alternating, total count of 50, and making sure that we are taking a little pause in between each rep so we're not just flopping around, right? So a nice way to tempo these out is inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. So you're not rushing them. They're not meant to be fast. It's a chance to slow things down, get a good core burn, and really work that skill. So take your time with those, work for quality, exhale down. Pair it with your breath. Next exercise on the list, we move into our Goblet Squat. And I'll have some different options here for your Goblet Squat, one of which will be a light dumbbell thruster. So same concept as the push press. If you don't have light dumbbells, all right, the option opposed to the Goblet Squat, which we did on our warm-up, will be that thruster. So if you have light dumbbells, grab 2. If you don't, single, we get that good squat, good press overhead. Good squat, good press overhead. So you can play with that as well if you like. But if you have a heavy set of dumbbells and you did a single arm push press, do a single arm thruster, 5 per side until you've completed 50 reps. Getting down to the nitty gritty of the exercise, once we're done that squat or thruster, you're gonna move into 50 burpees or squat thrusts. So a quick variation of each. We have our full burpee. I bring my hands down, I jump back and lower, maintaining that good elbow position. Press up, nice jump. I can lower down, step back, maintaining that good elbow position, and jump up and finish. Just make sure we're focusing and working on that good stacked elbow, that tight core, like we do in our humeral glide to knee push-ups. The other option is the squat thrust, which we practice in our warm-up, pairing it with the down dog. So the squat thrust, again, hands come down, we can jump back, jump in, we can step back into that good plank, jump in, we can jump back, step in, or we can step back, step in. All the while maintaining a good, strong plank. That is super important throughout the whole work set. So if you feel that hip and back position getting a little lax, take a break, breathe a little bit, take it down again. All right, rocking those reps. Last but not least is 50 double unders or singles or cardio piece of choice. I'll also have some of those options that we play with in our warm-up, the lateral dumbbell jump over, a couple other ones as well, ankle pops, some of you that you're familiar with on the workout description. So if any of those exercises kind of look and say, oh, I can't really do those at home, check the workout description, put them into where you need to, and make that workout yours, all right? It's a fun workout. It's a little on the longer side, but it's a good time. Break things down. Have fun with it, you guys. It's the weekend, so really enjoy this one. It's a big chipper. And like I say, work for quality, have fun, and enjoy your weekend, everyone. I hope you have a safe and fantastic Halloween and enjoy this weekend. I always think it's a long weekend, but it's not. But Halloween should be. It should be a holiday, but it's not. But enjoy. Have a great day, you guys.